Hello, it's Stuart, gold medal distance races, and we've got an interesting race here. I didn't realise that Coe had run against Tom McKean after his European gold medal in 1986, and I happened to find this race. So we're going to have a look at it. Berlin is after the selections have taken place. Coe knows he's not running in the 800 or the 1500, and McKean was selected, so let's just see how they go. Shows that McKean will be keen to prove his selection status, that Coe wasn't selected, he was. He will be very keen to beat Coe to prove that he's worthy of selection. Coe, on the other hand, will be keen to win to show that he should have been selected. It's one of those, it's one of the things that gives me more pain probably than any of the missed opportunities that Coe had to run faster, for example, Stockholm. It gives me more pain to think about the fact that he was not selected for the 1500 meters at least in Seoul in 1988. So scandalous and horrible. I'm still furious about it even today, because you know, Coe would have been coming into form for those Olympics. But okay, let's just have a look here. 25 seconds for the first 200 meters, fairly quick, but it looks like they're bunching and slowing down. Coe found himself at the back of the pack initially, but he fought his way through, and he's in a fair position here, albeit in this second lane, so he's running extra distance, of course. So about 55 seconds for the first lap. I always like to think about Ovet's race when he ran about 55 for the first lap in Moscow and ended up with 145.4. That's always the benchmark I look at, and I never see anybody beat that when they run a 55-second first lap. I never see anybody, regardless of who they are, run a 145.4. So let's see what they do here. So Coe is doing quite well here. He's putting pressure on Tom McKean, who's really gone off. He would have no excuses here if he's got the legs to get past McKean, which doesn't look as if he has. McKean looks very strong. Yep, Coe can't get near him. He's a good 2 meters back to a 147. Okay, so McKean will be satisfied with that. I mean, just looking at the time there again, 147 something, and you know, just going back to what I was saying about Ovet's 145.4 off a 55-second first lap, you know, it just shows the, you know, the superlative runner that he was to run that time off a 55-second first lap. But so McKean running very well. He did not win the 800, of course, in Seoul. We know that, but he will be pleased in this race to have beaten Coe and proven his selection. If you know anything more about this, about Coe, and any more context, I'll be very interested, because it's not something that I've really focused on very much. What were Coe's objectives for 1988 once he'd not been selected? I remember that there was some possibility that Juan Antonio Samaranch was going to try and get Coe in as a sort of wild card running under the Olympic flag, and I don't know, that idea didn't really get anywhere. It didn't really get much traction. I think they probably felt that if they were going to do that for Coe, then they would have to do it for other athletes. It would set a bad precedent. So I'm afraid that Coe and posterity has just had to swallow the fact that that decision was made. As much as in 1984, if they'd given the selection to Peter Elliott, I don't know if you thought about this, but had Coe not gone to LA, Cram would have won the gold medal. Have any of you ever thought about that? If they'd selected Peter Elliott instead, I think it would have been Cram, Abascal, maybe Peter Elliott would have got the bronze. I don't know. We know that Ovet would have dropped out anyway. But no, Cram would have been the Olympic champion. So I guess Krams thought of that as well, that if the selectors had done what they did for Seoul, Coe never would have run and Kram would have been the Olympic champion. So, and my money would have been on Coe being the Olympic champion in 1988 had they selected him, because he was a big competition runner for 1500 meters. He'd done it twice. There's no reason why he couldn't have done it again. But I'm digressing. This video is about Tom McKean. It's not about Seb Coe and, you know, the dreadful situation, unjust non-selection. Well, he didn't win the trials, did he? So, you know, he didn't get selected in the trials, so it's not unjust. I suppose it is just, but they could have made an exception like they did in 1984, but they didn't. Okay, I would be very interested in your comments on anything I've said, plus, of course, this race. Thanks for watching. I'll be back again soon.